Hi everyone, my name is Hannah and my pronouns are they, them. Today I'm going to be doing a comparison review of 3 water-based lubes. We have Bonk Lube, Lucy Lube and Satin by Liquid. Water-based lubes are great to use with condoms or with silicone toys because it's not going to degrade the material of those products. They're also great to use if you have an allergy to any of the other bases of lubricants. All 3 of the lubricants that I'm reviewing today are vegan and cruelty-free. And a couple of things that I look for when I'm reviewing a lubricant is the packaging. I look at whether or not it feels sticky or tacky while it's drying, and longevity. Those are a couple of really specific things that I look for. So I'll start off today by looking at Satin by Liquid. So it is 125 mils and it retails for $30. This is the packaging that it comes in. So it's like, it looks really dark when you're looking straight at it, but when you've actually got light coming through it, it's a really nice blue color. And then it's a little bit sheer when the light's coming through, so you can see how much is left, which is very handy because then you know how much you have before you're gonna run out. The top is this pop top style, like that. It's fine. There are a couple of issues with it where people who have either sensory issues in their hands or loss of mobility in their hands, then that can be a little bit difficult to do. Also, because if you're going back to reapply, you have to sort of like grab the whole bottle and press down, and if your hands are already lubey, like I have gotten this bottle so lubey from doing that, so I have basically, to combat that, I'll just like open it and leave it there and then close it when I'm finished, because otherwise, yeah, I just get the whole bottle covered in lube. The bottle is also recyclable, which is fantastic. It's hypoallergenic and it's made for both sexual activity use and also for people who are experiencing dryness. So if you're having vaginal dryness or you're finding that your vulva is a bit dry, then this can be really helpful to just sort of like apply a thin layer, and it just creates that little bit of moisture that potentially your body is not creating at that time. So it's got a pretty clear look to it, and it's also a little bit watery, which is what I would expect for something that is made for dryness as well. It's got a faint smell to it, but nothing too bad. And in regards to it, like the tackiness slash stickiness that I was talking about before, that's a really important one for me because I find it an absolute sensory nightmare when I'm using a lubricant and like it starts to dry up and get that tacky or sticky feeling. Like I don't like that feeling at all. No. I found water-based lubricants are the worst for this, which is why I tend not to gravitate towards them, and why I'm trying to find a really good one. This one sort of erred on my line of comfortableness. It was still okay, so I happily use this, but it is sort of like teetering on that edge line for me. I'm gonna need so many tissues for this video. Next up we have Bonk Lube, which is made in New Zealand. It's a 40 ml bottle for $15. Interestingly, this is the only one of these 3 that actually says water-based on it. This might just be me because I have heaps of lube bottles because I collect them and try them out and stuff. But I really appreciate when a company actually puts water-based or silicone-based or whatever on it, because I don't want to have to remember. I don't want to have to try and remember. I just want you to tell me what you are. I don't want to have to look through the ingredients. So I really appreciate that with this. The other bottles say something like intimate moisturizer or personal lubricant or something like that, which is fine. It just doesn't tell me what the base is. And if I'm wanting to use a silicone toy or something like that, I don't want to have to think, oh, but was this one? Which base was this one? I don't know. This one is hypoallergenic as well and fragrance free. It does have a slight smell to it just from the natural bits. Yeah, it's got a slight yellowy tinge to it. You probably won't be able to see on camera. It's only slight, and it's what I would call subject to gravity, where when I pop a bit on, it sort of like falls down but slowly. I'm not worried about that just dripping straight onto the floor. So of the 3, this is the one that I kind of had the most trouble with, mostly because of the top that's on it. So you might have seen before, it's that pop, like that. I feel like I shouldn't have this much trouble with the pop top, but I did. There was like, I'm very specific instance where it was like dark mood lighting and everything, and like I opened it and I was squeezing it on, and I couldn't feel how much I had in my hand. It was like room temperature, so yeah, I couldn't tell how much was going on. I ended up squeezing out way too much, absolutely ridiculous amount, and then I was covered in lube. It was too much lube, and then it still dried really quickly, and then it got that tacky feeling. The bottle's also not even a little bit see-through, so even putting it up to light, yeah, I can't tell how much is in here, which is really frustrating. I want to know when I'm about to run out so I can get some more. But yeah, so there's a couple of things about that one that I wasn't a huge fan of. Definitely only be using this in light scenarios. Last but not least, we have Lucy Lube. This is the bottle. It's 70 mils and it retails for $24. This one has my favorite packaging of all of them. The bottle is glass, it's see-through, so you can see when you're gonna run out. The glass bottle is recyclable, which is fantastic. It does say personal lubricant and not water-based, which no. It's got the pump lid, most importantly. So pump lids are my favorites when it comes to lube, because there's a couple of reasons. One, I know how much I'm getting out. I know that one pump will be yay much. This one does have a very small amount that comes out of the pump, but I will sacrifice that for a pump. So that's one reason. I know how much I'm getting out, regardless of whether or not I'm in dark or light. Secondly, you can just sort of like pop it on the nightstand and just like pop it, and then that way you're not having to, like, if you're reapplying, you're not getting your lubey hands over the entire bottle trying to squeeze it out. I have so much lube on my hands right now, hold on. So those are a couple of pretty big wins for me. It's a little bit cloudy in color. It's the thickest of the three, and it's got like a slight smell, so it's got the most smell out of these three, which is fine, it's not offensive, but it does linger a little bit. I also found that it wiped off really well, so once I was done and I was using like water to get it off, it wasn't lingering or anything like that. It also did not go tacky or sticky, which is the first water-based lube I've ever found to do that. So big, happy win. This is my favorite. I love. So those are my thoughts on Lucy Lube, Satin by Liquid, and Bonk Lube. You can get them at blissforwomen.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.